Coming up on this week's episode, we're talking Merseyside derby, a London derby, plus a look forward to Euro 2024. Liam has a quiz, there's some Who Am I, and the Wonders of White are back as well, so let's get started. Hello and welcome to a new episode of View from the Sideline podcast. It's Chris here. Hello, Liam.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Refreshed and ready after 2-3 weeks, I think.
A long international break, wasn't it? Yeah. It just felt like it went on forever.
Obviously back to domestic football at the weekend. I was going to say one thing though. I looked at the league table earlier, and there's 9 games. Is it me, or does it feel like there's been a lot more football played than 9 games?
Yeah.
I don't know why. When I was looking, I was thinking, God blimey, is it only 9 games? I thought we were like 15, 16 games into the season. So, yeah.
It takes it out of you, doesn't it? I suppose when you're not winning or at the top.
Stressful. Well, to be fair, I haven't seen Chelsea lose for nearly a month. So
I know.
So things are looking a bit up there, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But first up, we'll go to the Merseyside derby, which was on Saturday. An eventful game, I think, to say the least. Liverpool deserve winners.
Yeah, I think probably just about. It wasn't their best performance. It's going to be one of those games that if Liverpool hadn't have won, Klopp's going to blame the lunchtime kickoff again, because they always seem to get the lunchtime kickoff. He's got a point there. I don't know what kind of difference it makes, but that 2.5 hours. But yeah, I think can't argue with the penalty or the red card for Everton. I think. I don't know what Michael Keane's sort of doing, sticking his arm out like that, to be honest, and Ashley Young's dived in.
Waving.
Yeah. Yeah, it literally was. It's just...
Obviously, with the Young sending off, I think someone with, his experience as well, in such a big game, I think it was a bit silly, really, wasn't it? And, Liverpool are a good side, anyway, without having to, to defend against them with just... 10 men, so, he should have known better, if I'm honest. And Michael Keane, he came on, didn't he? He came on second.
I do think until the penalty, I thought Everton had actually defended them well, I wouldn't say they'd had too many attacking chances, but, the game plan was very clear. We'll try and catch them on the break if we can. But I thought they defended and looked relatively comfortable until the penalty. And then obviously, once it goes 1-0, Everton start chasing the game a little bit, trying to get something out of it and leave themselves a little bit exposed. Obviously, the main talking point was the non-red card to Konate. And I've got to admit, I've looked at it a few times now, and I can't really see what the referee's going for. It is 2 yellows. I don't really understand it. Both of them, Chris. I can't. So sometimes that you look at a challenge and you think, well, it could be a yellow card, but it's open to interpretation. No, I think especially the second one, he's stopping a counter attack. It's quite blatant.
I think they can definitely feel hard done by that. I don't. It looked clear and obvious to me.
Yeah, certainly did.
It's just,
I don't know, can VAR intervene in that? Because it's a yellow card? Or are they not allowed?
I think it's got to be, it has to be like a straight red, I guess, hasn't it? I guess they got to, if it's like deemed as like 2-footed tackles, I guess, isn't it? I guess that's what it's mainly there for. But, yeah, I agree with you. I thought Everton actually defended really well for at least, 65, 70 minutes of the game. And he to be fair, even when Ashley Young, he was sent off relatively close to half-time anyway, but even that didn't seem... I mean, they had to soak up a lot more pressure, but they managed to deal with it for a long, long time, and then it's just a bit of a silly one, penalty-wise.
Yeah.
And you got to think, if they hadn't had a penalty, they probably would have... They might have been able to scrape a point out of it, to be fair, but...
Yeah, I think it was, Liverpool were getting more and more frustrated, and the fans were getting just on the backs of people a little bit. And I think it was a really important time of the game where if nothing had happened, if they'd have just stayed for the next, maybe see it out till 80 minutes, then I think Liverpool fans and players would have really started to get frustrated, and it would have been very difficult from then on. But I think though there's a lot of positives for Everton. I said that I thought they'd surprise a few people this season, and they'd not struggle. A lot of people had them to finish near the bottom. Maybe I was being a bit enthusiastic about their chances, but I do think they will stay up. And he seems to have got them a bit more organised. Everton last season, before Dyche came in, that could have easily been a red card and then 3 or 4-0. But to keep it as tight as they did for as long as they did, I think they can give themselves a bit of credit going into the next game.
Yeah, well, at the end of September, they beat Brentford away 3-1. But then only to go and lose, the next week at home to Luton. So, and then they beat Bournemouth just before the international break. But
consistency,
I think for them, it's going to be, it is going to be. If they're going to have to get 3 or 4 wins in a row, I think to finally kickstart something. And I'm just looking at their fixtures now. They got West Ham away next weekend, and then it's Brighton at home and Palace away. So there's points probably there to be had, especially how Brighton are playing at the moment. And West Ham might still be crying after yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely battered.
But I think they'll be safe this season. I think there are worse teams than them at the moment in that league. But Burnley, I'll just quickly go off track of it, but I thought Burnley would be quite safe. But they have been really poor, if I'm honest. I mean, they've conceded 23 goals and Sheffield United have conceded 24.
Yeah.
And I think we both probably agreed that Bournemouth would struggle.
Yeah.
I think
they've made a mistake getting rid of O'Neill, I think. The game against Wolves sort of said quite a lot, I think.
So I think Everton, last season it was hit and miss a lot of the time where we didn't, up until really last couple of games of the season, we didn't really know what was going to happen to them. And I think in fairness, they probably were very lucky to actually stay in the league.
Yeah.
I personally thought that they were going to go down. I didn't feel that the squad were focused at all. And I thought, even if they didn't go down, they probably were one of the worst 3 teams in the league overall that season. But I think this season, with what I've seen from the 3 teams that have come up, I think they should be all right, Everton. But I don't think they're going to be playing any sort of fancy football, or they're not going to rock it up the league. I think they are going to be in and around there, but I think that that sort of football with a bit of flair isn't the thing that gets them out of trouble. I don't think that what they've struggled with for the last few years is a bit of organisation and leadership. I think they've finally got that a little bit, and I think for any team at the bottom, the home form is vital to staying up. And I think that last season, Everton, I'm not blaming the fans. Obviously, they weren't happy with what they saw. But home games, I think they were a bit fearful of their own fans last season. There seems to be a little bit of a better relationship now. Surviving obviously helped. But I think the early sort of home games are going to be really important to them. If they get to Christmas and they've won a few, say if they win half of their home games at Christmas, I think
they'll then kick on and they'll do all right in the second half of the season. But if it gets to a point where it's December, you're looking at your Boxing Day fixtures and they're, to near the bottom three or in the bottom three, then that's when it might get a little bit difficult for them. But I think they'll be out of trouble, like you say. To go down, you've got to be one of the three worst teams, and I don't think at the moment that they are.
Okay, we are going to move on to the London derby, and that was between Chelsea and Arsenal.
It was going so well, wasn't it?
For 75 minutes of that game, right, I thought to myself, this is how we are going to play this season.
Yeah.
We defended well. We defended in numbers. We got forward in numbers. We actually managed to pass it more than 3 times to another Chelsea player without losing the ball. Everyone seemed connected. I don't know if you've seen sort of the formation, but it was almost, when we were going forward, it was a 4-2-4 with Gallagher filling in as a second striker.
Yeah.
And then, when at the other end, when it was sort of, when we were defending, you had Mudryk and Sterling pretty much as wing backs, and then we were playing pretty much 4 centre backs, and then playing on the counter. And it really worked. It really, really did work. And I think, without the mistake from the Chelsea goalkeeper, I think we would have gone on and won that, which is really painful to say.
Yeah.
Because they didn't look like scoring, and it was an edgy game, because I felt that if they did score one, they probably would score again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was fearful that they were going to score a third, and they almost did. Luckily, in Kessie, it just went wide. But yeah, I didn't really know how to feel about the result in it, because it did feel like that we threw points away there. But then if you'd have asked me at the start of the game, would you take a draw, I would have said yes. So
yeah,
I suppose slightly disappointed that we didn't get the win, but at the same time, it's the best I've seen us play by far under Poch. Reece James came on, which is a good sign. He's back. From an attacking point of view, from him, I think he came on Saturday and he was playing a winger. He's playing as winger.
Yeah.
But he can drop back.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing is, with James and Chilwell, when they are both fit, does he revert back to a 5?
It'd be interesting. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see, because James and Chilwell, people are going to sound biased, but on their day, they are probably up there with the best fullbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Especially James. I think James more so than probably Chilwell. And I think they're probably the best attacking fullbacks in the league as well. Now, they're not going to, if they're playing a 4, they won't be able to do that, because
they're going
to need to be defending.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But I was glad to see him back. Because even, obviously he's been injured since the first game of the season, but even against Liverpool in that first game of the season, I thought we played really well, and he was one of the best players on that pitch, and he got injured, and we did look a bit shaky when he came off. But I think, we have still got a lot of players out, and he's going to have a tough decision, Pochettino, and how these players are going to come back in and where they're going to fit. Because at the moment, I can't see Sterling being replaced. Cole Palmer probably had the best game he's ever played in the Premier League on Saturday. Very young.
I mean, he is still young, and because you obviously didn't have a recognised striker, so he was quite a lot of the time probably the furthest forward.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's that I've not noticed before, but he's actually quite big size-wise, isn't he?
Yeah.
He does sort of suit that like he can hold the ball up. He's got a bit of strength. It's not like he's a winger who, relies on their pace or anything like that. It's more on trickery and strength that he sort of gets through the game. So I thought he, like you say, I thought he played really well.
Yeah, I was surprised he took Mudryk off and brought Jackson on, because I felt going forward, I felt it was working, and I didn't feel the need that it needed to be changed. I felt with Jackson coming on, it pushed Palmer out wide, and we became really direct. Because obviously Palmer had been playing in the middle for 60, 65 minutes of the game. He kept drifting inside, and I don't think the subs helped, if I'm honest. I felt when Jackson came on, we lost a bit of momentum positional wise. I felt that the way that we were set up,
there was good fluidity, wasn't there? I think.
Yeah.
With the four attacking players that started, there was kind of an understanding between them.
Mudryk, he's had tough time. I think I'd be the first to say that last season he was pretty poor.
Yeah.
And for the start of this season, he wasn't much better, but he seems to be growing in confidence, and scoring goals is helping. Obviously, got the goal on Saturday. Did he mean it?
I was going to ask you.
They were having a debate on Match of the Day, and they were certain that he probably did mean it. And Pochettino said that he meant it, but I don't know. It seems a bit crazy to be shooting from that sort of angle. Then when you think about it, would he bother crossing the ball if it's just Sterling in the box? That's what I mean.
That is true.
So Palmer got man of the match. I thought Enzo, Caicedo, I thought they played really well. But when they play together, Enzo just looks so much better than Caicedo. Like, the amount of money we've spent on him, and Enzo just looks so much better. He looks so much more confident on the ball. I think Fernandes is a really, really good sign, and I would say we've paid a lot of money for him, but I'd say we are seeing a good return in him, because he don't give up. Like, he's a hard working midfielder, and I think moving forward, the team will probably be built around sort of him.
Still very young, isn't he? So, a lot of.
I mean, all of us are pretty much young. Thiago Silva is propping the age of the squad up by a lot, because and even on Saturday, Thiago Silva, he's just so good. Like, I know he's quite old, and but we're so lucky to have him, because I feel without him, there's no sort of direction at the back, and he's so composed, like, on the ball, very rarely makes a mistake.
And for the younger guys that you've signed there as well, it's got to be having an effect on them, playing with him week in, week out, and obviously training with him. If you're a 20-year-old that's just been signed for 30 million,
or like you think Colwell,
or however much. Yeah, exactly.
Even Dizazi, he's still only 22, 23. Yeah. So, they're playing with him and like training with him is only going to make them better defenders. Interesting to see what they do with him though, because his contract's up in the summer.
I did see rumours about him going back to Brazil, I think.
I think that's where he wants to finish his career, but it's whether he sees his career finishing next season or the season after. Personally, I mean, he's played every minute for Chelsea this season in the Premier League. If he continues, I can't see why they don't give him another year.
Yeah, why not?
Because he's outstanding sometimes, and I just think, in all of the madness of sort of the results, he's the one player that's kind of still, giving everything, so.
Just quickly, thoughts on Arsenal? Obviously, David Raya got the nod over Ramsdale this week.
Yeah, it's only because he had a baby. Ramsdale's had a baby, hasn't he?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the only reason he didn't play Saturday. I mean, but I can imagine Arteta's probably begging him to come back tomorrow for the Sevilla game, because it's a huge game for them. And I mean, he didn't do himself any good on Saturday. There was one point he almost lost the ball again. He got the ball back, and Cole Palmer was on him, and he lost the ball. He literally passed him the ball, but outside the box, he just passed him the ball. This is madness. But yeah, I think there'll be question marks about him. I think, and because he hadn't done very well, I think, since joining Arsenal. I really don't understand why he joined Arsenal, if I'm honest.
No, I mean, I guess he must have thought, I'm going to push for the number one spot. You don't know what promises they made when they loaned him in, but
not with performances like that. He's not going to be pushing for number one. He wouldn't be pushing for number 3, I think, after that. But I can't say much because Sanchez, I think.
Yeah, it was a game for mistakes, wasn't it? But I've got to admit, a lovely finish by Rice. I mean, I know he was past the ball, but from 40 yards, you've got to be happy with a finish like that. That's it's not all down to the goalkeeper. He still had a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, and as soon as that went in, I thought, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. But yeah, no, I overall, I would say that I'm pretty happy. But now we have to apply that again. I know, we were playing Arsenal, so we're probably going to step up a bit more against them, because obviously they're, one, they're fierce rivals.
Yeah.
And 2, you want to beat the best teams in the league, and they are, I guess, technically one of the best teams in the league. We've got Brentford on Saturday.
Lunchtime.
We got the lunchtime kickoff, so got an excuse next week if they lose. But we'll see. I think as long as they play like they played for 70 minutes on Saturday, we should be okay, I think, on Saturday. But again, it's whether they can produce that sort of football again. So we'll have to wait and see. It's obviously international break, more England games, but obviously now they're through. So obviously they are going off to the Euros. So to be fair, they should just cancel the other 2 games, and we just don't have a break. It's, madness. But I think we're just going to touch on our thoughts on maybe how far we think that they can go at the Euros. Obviously, we all know what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'd all like them to go obviously one step further this time. I was just going to say that obviously it's probably going to be almost the same team that go this Euros than what it was the last Euros, to be fair.
He's not mixed it up, has he, in terms of his selection? So
he's still very much adamant on a John Stones and Harry Maguire centre-back partnership. But the problem is, for England, it's working. That's the thing.
Yeah.
For him, Maguire might not be playing a huge amount of football at club level, but when it comes to playing for England,
he hasn't done that much wrong.
He's not actually doing anything wrong. And to be fair, we're winning games. So, I guess we should then be saying, well, we're all saying to him, why is he not picking younger players, and why is he not picking players that have performed better than maybe, someone like Harry Maguire? But from Southgate's point of view, when he's picked him for England, he's, done a half decent job. I mean, it's not like that England have lost loads of games, is it, in the last 4 or 5 years? No. So I guess to him, why is he going to change it? And obviously there's a lot of talk about him most likely stepping down, isn't it, after the Euros? So I guess, I guess we can expect Calvin Phillips and Harry Maguire to be in the Euro squad.
I think so. I mean, I think the only real changes from the squad that played this round of fixtures, I'm looking at obviously, I think Reece James will come back from injury and will have a part to play. But other than that, I know Saka was out, so I think he'll come back in. I think the question is only going to be around Sterling. I think if he keeps on playing well this year, he's got a chance of getting back in. But I think as things stand at the moment, he just seems out of favour.
I was surprised. I was
as well, to be honest. But I think that, I hope that if Sterling does enough to warrant coming back in, he comes back in for Nketiah, because I think Watkins is on great form, and it would be a shame for him to drop out. But he seems to have kept a pretty standard squad for at least for the last few rounds of international fixtures. There hasn't been, he's not been handing out debuts to many people. Colwell's got one recently, I know, but other than that,
I think Colwell will probably be sacrificed for Reece James.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Chilwell.
Yeah, Chilwell's
so he will most likely come back in as well, and I think that would be curtains for probably Dunk. I think that'll be him out.
Yeah. I think it'll be between Chilwell or Shaw. I think one of them's got to go, because we can't keep on playing teams with no left back. I know Trippier's done all right filling in, but I think he'd rather play in his actual proper position.
I think we'll agree Bellingham is probably almost at the top of that team sheet right now. Probably just below Harry Kane still, but I mean, he is.
It's an incredible talent.
He looks like a Rolls Royce standing on the pitch. So
absolutely.
Like when we don't obviously get to see him play that much, because obviously he's in Spain. But I mean, when he's playing for England, you can just tell he's like head and shoulders above anything else we've got in midfield. Like, he's so good on the ball. He just reminds me of Zidane. Every time I see him play, I just think he's literally Zidane.
Yeah.
Like the way he just like glides.
It's scary. I remember. So growing up, Zidane and Bergkamp were my two favourite footballers to watch that didn't play for Villa, and I remember a few people saying there was a time in Zidane's career where a few people would say he doesn't work that hard. He doesn't run much. He doesn't put much effort into the team. But I always thought he does. He just makes it look so easy. And I think Bellingham has got that. He just makes it look so easy. Everything he does on and off the ball, he just appears. And I think as well at the moment, I think Rice is hitting that kind of form as well. I wasn't really a fan when he sort of first came onto the scene, but watching him, especially for the last few England games and the last couple of times I've seen him for Arsenal, the difference that he makes in winning that ball back, in just being in the right place, having that strength to outmuscle opponents' attackers, that kind of thing. Between the two of them, I think they're up there with any national team. The two of them, I think, would get into most other international setups. Bellingham would get into everyone's at the moment. I genuinely would put him in if we were making a world 11 at the minute, he would be, well and truly in the middle of it. So, in terms of our chances for the Euros, I don't know. I think it's going to be dependent on obviously a lot of things. Who qualifies to begin with? Obviously, we've beaten Italy to the top spot by the looks of things. I imagine they'll get through in second, but you can never really tell. You don't know what groups you're going to have. But I think in terms of like squad for squad, I think us, France and Spain are going to be the three that people will fancy to get towards the sort of latter end of the tournament. I think, we obviously lost against France in the World Cup last time out, but it'll be
only just though.
We gave them. I think we gave them a good game. I'd still probably have them slightly ahead of us just because of
favourites.
And I think they've had a settled side now for quite some time, and I don't see that changing between now and the Euros. Spain, I think, are going to be one of those teams. I don't know whether the Euros is going to be a bit too soon for them, but I think the next World Cup, you look at the players they've got coming through, They had another 17-year-old scored for Barcelona yesterday. I don't know whether you saw that.
Yeah,
so, with your Gavis, your Pedris, Ansu Fati has obviously started well at Brighton. And they're all teenagers still. I think the future's looking very bright for Spanish football, but I don't know whether it will come a bit too soon. But between England and France, I would have us as the favourites at the moment.
I think the most interesting team are going to be Germany. It's just obviously they are hosting the whole competition.
So they can get fans behind them. Always dangerous.
It's just one of those things. I just look at their team on paper and I just think it's nothing like what it used to be.
No, but they have still got players that will make a difference. Musiala's been playing well. I would have loved him to have declared his nationality for England, but
maybe he regrets that now.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, he could be playing in this side at the moment. Yeah. I think if he had decided on England, I think he would probably be in the side. I think he's played very well for Bayern Munich, but. They're a funny side, Germany, at the moment. They're in a bit of a transition, I think. But if there's anything that their past in terms of football has taught me, it's that they're not going to be too much longer in that transition phase. I think they do tend to make some swift and decisive action if they think their national team isn't performing well. And obviously last time it culminated in a World Cup. So, we'll see what happens this time round.
At least there's no Japan for them this time round.
No.
So they might be safe. But I think, dependent on where we are with France, obviously scheduling wise, I mean, if we can avoid them until the final, that would be great. But I can see us getting to the final again.
Yeah, I could see it. It just,
I think being so close last time, I think that should be motivating them to go one step further and try not to let it get to penalties. And this time, make sure Chiellini gets sent off.
Yeah, yes, please.
Shirts. And I think I think they'll be aiming to get to the final. I think they shouldn't be aiming for any less than that.
No.
Winning it would be huge, and if they lose in the final, still a final, isn't it? Still getting to a final. Looks good on Gareth Southgate's CV. So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But yeah.
And then you can't help but question if we had a different manager, might we have gone a little bit further? Yeah, I guess we'll never know. But it would be nice if he was going to quit after the Euros. It would be a nice way to sign off, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting on where they take that if he does leave.
Yeah.
Because to be fair to him, he hasn't really done that much wrong, has he?
In terms of actual tournament football,
like on paper, what we've seen from like how far we've got in competitions. I mean, we should have got to the World Cup final. Really.
I was a little but I don't think anyone expected us to do as well as we did in that tournament when we did get to the semi-final. The only tournament I'd say I was a little bit disappointed in was the World Cup last time round. I know we got France. I know they ended up going to the final, but I still thought we could have gone a bit further. But I'm not going to blame Southgate for that. It was France were just better than us on the day. I don't think we did too much wrong.
No. Cool. So that's this week's Talking Points. We are back in part 2 with some Wonders of White, Who Am I, and a quiz. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this week's episode. We're going to go into some Wonders of White. And I'm going to start with Villa.
Yes,
and
that's what we like.
It's not Douglas Luiz breaking the Villa record for most consecutive home goals either, though he has broken that record.
Yeah.
So this is the most points in the Premier League since the weekend of Unai Emery's first game in charge of Aston Villa, which was the 5th of November.
Yeah.
And So the weekend of the 5th of November. So you've scored 68 points since then.
Yep.
Which is more than Manchester United and Newcastle, and only slightly less than Arsenal and Liverpool. But Man City are, they're way off. 81 points they're on.
Yeah.
So yeah, top 4 Champions League.
Yeah, I tell you, if we're saying that come May, I'll be delighted. I did listen to 606 earlier, and there were some Villa fans on there saying, I don't know why people aren't taking this seriously for a run at the title. I'm not going to go that far, but top 4 would be a dream.
Dreams, yeah. Live your
Absolute dream, yeah. I mean, I'm still holding out for top 6. Top 6 would be successful, but anything more than that is a wonderful bonus.
Jarrod Bowen is the 3rd player in the Premier League's history to score in each of their team's first 5 away games in a campaign. He holds the joint record with Thierry Henry and Mohamed Salah. So he's
in good company.
He's in company there.
He did get a little bit lucky though, I've got to say. Yeah. Big deflection. Big deflection. Shouldn't really count.
This one is something we actually talked about earlier on the league. So this is about Ajax. So Ajax have failed to win their last 8 games in all competitions, 3 draws, 5 defeats, their longest run since the introduction of professional football in Holland.
Wow.
1954. They are struggling really bad. Well, really bad.
They are. Yeah, I mean, as you know, Chris, they are my foreign team that I follow, and I mean, obviously they sold pretty much everybody in summer. Kudus, Alvarez, obviously Anthony's left recently as well, and loads of important players. Martinez went, so they just haven't replaced them, or at least not yet. Anyway, doesn't help when they get games abandoned after like an hour because of crowd trouble either.
Yeah, I saw another game got abandoned last night as well in Greece. Panathinaikos Olympiakos.
Oh, yeah, not surprising.
Someone threw a flare at a player, hit him.
Wonderful. Yeah. That game is. I would never want to go to that game. It's brutal.
Imagine being in the middle of that game.
Oh no, thank you.
So this one is a slightly random one, just because of one of the players that's actually involved in this. So at the age of 21 years and 168 days, Cole Palmer is the 3rd youngest player to score a penalty in back-to-back Premier League games. So the youngest is Bukayo Saka at 20 years and 230 days. Second is 21 years, 50 days, is Peter Unlove.
Wow, that is a blast from the past.
Random. Yeah. I had to put that one in just because he was second in the list.
I always love a mention of a 90s footballer, so very happy with that.
If you close your eyes and imagine, you can picture him in a bright blue Coventry City
definitely
kit with Subaru written on the front of it.
Yeah, he tormented Villa on several occasions.
I suppose they're kind of like your rivals, aren't they? Are they kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it always used to be a little bit feisty whenever Coventry played Villa. I did go to a few of them back in the day, but the rivalry's kind of cooled off a little bit last few years, obviously. But yeah, always used to be slightly feisty, especially when we bought Dion Dublin, George Boateng and Mustafa Hadji in the space of about 18 months or so.
Yeah, that probably didn't go down very well.
Yeah, didn't really go down too well with the Coventry fans, but it'll be interesting. I mean, I was kind of hoping they'd come up this year because they obviously made it to the playoff final. Would have been nice to have reunited that derby again, but yeah, maybe next time around.
So that's your lot this week.
Some good wonders of white there.
Quiz? Should we do quiz?
Yes, let's do a quiz. So,
do I need to sit in a leather chair for this?
You don't. No, you don't quite for this one. I was going to do a mastermind level quiz, and then I remember
you made me sweat a little bit.
I remember you sort of tormented me with some Villa squads from the past recently. So I thought I'll get you a bit of payback So I've got 5 teams.
You
did
do
Chelsea's
pretty well,
past.
To be fair. You did do very well.
I didn't do too. It was quite an enjoyable quiz for me, so I thought I'd return the favour at least.
This wasn't a reciprocating quiz, by the way. I didn't want this one back.
So 5 teams from Chelsea's past.
Oh,
so
no.
you have to guess the starting 11. So you get 1 life. So if you get 2 guesses wrong, then you're out, but you can stop at any time. So, are you ready for squad number 1?
Yes. Is it Chelsea Villa 8-0?
There is no Chelsea Villa games in this, I'm afraid. Some are designed to give you fond memories, some not so much.
Bad memories?
I'll let you be the judge. So the first squad is Chelsea versus Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final, May the 6th, 2009. Fond memories of that one, Chris?
Michael Ballack.
Michael Ballack, straight in there, yes. Yes, he's definitely in there.
Yeah, the referee, but he was playing for Barcelona.
Yeah, the referee was in there.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, I can't. This winds me out. This game absolutely winds me out.
I thought it might do. There are some nicer ones further in.
I've never seen such bad refereeing in a game, and then to hear that Barcelona have been paying referees and stuff and all that, and I just think to myself, it was dodgy. I mean, there was so many.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever gone back and watched it, but
I watched it on telly at the time.
Really bad calls in that game, and then to concede right at the end as well. It's just,
Yeah.
Okay, 2009.
So you got Michael Ballack. I'll give you that one straight off.
He scored the goal.
Yes, so he's in there as well. So that's 2 points.
I'll go with Czech.
Yeah.
Lampard.
Ever present. Czech, Lampard. You're going too quick for me. Terry was number 5. Ashley Cole's number 6. Yeah.
2009. I think we actually won the league this year as well. I'll go Drogba.
Yeah, Drogba's in there, 7 points. Now it does get a bit trickier.
Yes. Well, we won the league this season, so I am going to say Malouda.
Correct. He's in there for number 8.
I can get one wrong, can't I?
You can get one wrong, and then you can choose to carry on. Or you can stop wherever you like.
How many have I got so far?
8.
8.
So you've got three to get.
Anelka?
Correct. Yes, Nicola Anelka. I never remember him playing for Chelsea, even though he did score a lot of goals.
He scored a lot of goals that season for us. He scored just as many as Drogba did that season.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to know what positions you're missing? I'll let you sacrifice a life. I'll tell you.
It'd be defenders, wouldn't
it? All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Are you going to leave it there? Fancy taking a stab?
No.
No idea?
I'm trying to think who ran over to the referee.
It's everybody.
No, I can't think of anyone, mate.
Okay, the 2 you are missing are Jose Bosingua and Alex.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Alex at centre half, Bosingua at right back. So, 9 points. Not bad at all from your first squad.
That.
Ready for the second squad?
Yeah, why not?
Second squad is a happier affair. Jose Mourinho's first trophy. Chelsea versus Liverpool, League Cup final, February 27th, 2005.
Right. I got fond memories of this game because I was very, very hungover. And I got invited to the pub. And, yeah, so I really wasn't sure about if I was going to go. Okay, it's going to be a bit more of a difficult one because one of the goals was scored by Steven Gerrard.
It was a Steven Gerrard own goal.
Do subs count?
No, they don't. But that's only because I haven't actually written down the subs.
Okay. It's just because I know one of the guys that scored, but I don't know if he came on. Anyway,
hold on a second. I think I know who you mean. So I won't make you lose a life if you say it.
Well, yeah, it was okay. If it's not him, I'll go with Drogba. Drogba?
Yes, Drogba. Drogba
It wasn't the one I was thinking of. It was the one that began with the druggie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came on.
So 2005. So we're thinking Mourinho. Who did he bring it? So Czech.
Yep, number 2.
Carvalho.
Yep,
Terry,
number 3. Number 4.
Lampard.
Yes, number 5.
Joe Cole.
Correct. Number 6.
Next is going to be slight guesses. Right back probably would have been Paulo Ferreira.
Correct. Number 7.
Ooh. This is some time ago.
This is 18 years ago.
I'm almost certain Mourinho got sent off in this game as well.
I have the match report open. Yes, he was. He was sent off for taunting Liverpool fans after the goal, and he watched on television as his side went on to win the game.
I'm almost certain that Liverpool scored in like 30 seconds as well. Left back, I'm struggling. A midfielder, there's another midfielder, but I clue. Glenn Johnson.
Oh, that's a loss of a life, I'm afraid.
I think I'm going to.
I don't even think he was. Oh, he came on. He did come on, Glenn Johnson.
I expect Johnson was there at the time, but I expect he would have been on the bench as well.
So you have lost a life now, so if you get the next one wrong...
I'm going to call it there.
You're going to call it a day at 7. I think that's probably a good choice.
It's going to be random.
There's a couple that I think you probably could have got. So Makalele played that day. William Gallas was your left back. Not quite sure why, but he was.
So Gallas would probably be my next, was where I was headed probably next.
Damien Duff.
Oh my God, yes.
As well.
Yeah, I've completely forgotten about Damien Duff.
Yeah. Did play a lot for you. And then the one that I don't think any Chelsea fan would have got, because I think it probably was one of the very few games he played, Yuri Garasik. Played in centre midfield. I don't know whether you remember him. I vaguely do.
I've never got him.
No, I thought he'd never played.
Kesman was on the bench then.
Yes, so those who came off the bench, you were right. Kesman came off the bench. Good Johnson came on at half time for Yarasik, and Glenn Johnson came on with 10 minutes to go. Subs not used. Thiago and Lenny Pidgley. So there you go. That was the bench for you that day, filled with quality. Ready for squad number 3. This one's a little bit more difficult, but a bit of fun. You gave me an old school one, so I've decided to go back to Chelsea's first ever Premier League win. It was a 1-0 win against QPR on August the 29th, 1992. Quite a difficult one, but some fun names nevertheless.
1992. Now this, holy moly. Right. I'm already struggling. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
right, I'll go with the ones that I'm sure. The Dennis Wise would have been there.
Dennis Wise was playing, yeah.
Mr. Besant.
Dave Besant was indeed in goal.
Townsend.
Andy Townsend, yep.
Oh my word. Clark? Steve Clark? Are you there?
Yes, number 4. Obviously went on to be your manager briefly for a bit, I think, didn't he? Was he your interim boss?
Yeah, he was, yeah. And I'm going to stop there.
Interesting. Okay, 4 points. That's not bad. I've got to be honest, there aren't many names in the team that I actually recognise.
I bet Vinnie Jones is on there. You're going to tell me Vinnie Jones is on there?
Vinnie Jones is on there. Yes, he is indeed. Yeah. So Vinnie Jones obviously recognised. Graham Stewart, I recognised.
Yeah,
I didn't know he played for Chelsea. I only recognised him from, I think, Charlton or something. Mick Harford scored your only goal that day. And then players that I don't recognise: Gareth Hall, Mal Donaghy, Paul Elliott, and Robert Fleck. Don't know if any of those names ring a bell to you, Chris, but I was at a loss. I was at a loss with them. 4th Chelsea squad. A little bit of a sad time for you now. Chelsea's record Premier League defeat.
Brilliant.
You did it to me, so I'm replaying this favour. 6-0 loss to Manchester City, October the 2nd, 2019.
This is recent as well.
Yes, 4 years ago.
Aguero.
No, he wasn't playing for you that day, sorry.
Yeah, no. I'd like to say I think we've also beaten Man City 6-0 at some point as well.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but the problem is, I think your record win is 8-0 against either us or Wigan, and because you did the Villa version, I thought it's not fair to just. You've probably seen the squad quite recently, so.
I bet even Sterling scored that day as well. Traitor. Right, Sarri. Who would have Sarri picked? So it would have been Kepa.
Yep, he was in goal.
Alonso.
Yep, he was at left back.
Louise.
Yep.
Dave or Aspricqueta.
Yep, he was playing right back. It's not a bad lineup.
Kante.
Yep, he was in midfield that day.
Hazard.
Correct. Yep. Could have been playing much longer for you after that. Maybe his final season.
Giroud?
No.
Oh, bugger.
Any more in the back?
If it wasn't Giroud in 2019, it probably would have been Tubby Higuain.
Are you going to guess that?
Yeah, Higuain. Yeah, because if it's not Giroud, it's probably Higuain.
Yeah, correct, it was Higuain.
How many have I got?
You got 7, so you got 4 more to get, but no lives remaining.
Yeah, we'll park it there. I think.
Stick there.
Yeah, there's probably a couple that I probably should know. But...
So you missed a centre back.
Hang on, let me think quickly. It probably would have been Christensen or Rudiger.
It was Rudiger. Indeed. You missed a holding midfielder who you don't particularly like anymore. I don't know whether he actually played against you this weekend.
Oh, Jorginho.
Correct. You missed another centre midfielder who now plays for Luton.
Oh, Barclay.
Yep.
It's becoming quite apparent now how he lost it.
Yeah. And the other winger striker that you missed.
It'll be... Oh, hang on. I'm guessing it'll be Willian or Pedro.
Pedro, indeed it was. Yeah, no Willian on the team sheet that day. Final squad. So you've got 7, add 4, so 11, and then another 7, so 18. and then another 9. So you got 27 at the moment, so not bad at all.
Oh, no.
So the final squad is Claudio Ranieri's first match in charge. The golden era of the Premier League, as far as I'm concerned. A 3-3 draw with Manchester United on the 23rd of September 2000.
Yeah, it was 2000.
It was.
God, this is going to be...
I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. There are some proper names in this. Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to go with the French pairing of Desailly and Leboeuf.
Correct on both accounts.
I'm going to go with Di Matteo.
Yes,
I'm just thinking of... I don't really know, I'm not going to be honest, but I'm just thinking of the FA Cup final.
Yeah, it wasn't long... it wasn't long after the FA Cup final, actually.
Zola and Hasselbank.
Correct and correct. That's 5.
That? 5. Damn. Flo?
Correct. 6.
Okay. Melchior?
Incorrect.
Ooh.
He wasn't playing that day, so you lose your life.
I will just... goalkeeper. Cudicini?
Correct. Cudicini was in goal that day.
I think I should stop.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, actually. I'm not too surprised, actually. So, missing Graham Lasso. I thought you might have got Graham Lasso.
Yeah, okay.
He was playing at left back that day. And then I'm assuming he played out of position because I remember him as a left back as well.
Panucci?
Christian Panucci was playing.
Okay,
so I think it was a back 3. Because John Harley was also playing that day.
You probably would have played as a wing back, I would have
thought. And then the only other player you missed was Jody Morris. Played centre midfield that day. Some real, proper names there. I mean, John Harley.
I'm almost certain in that game as well, we were losing 3-0, I think we come back. Memory.
Let me have a quick look. I've got a link to the team sheets there. So you actually took the lead that day, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and then you went 3-1 down, and then Torre Andre Flo scored twice.
Did Roy Keane get booked?
Shall we have a look? Let's have a look at United's side. Roy Keane did get booked, of course he did.
What a surprise.
So in the United side, I know you're not interested, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Raymond van der Gaal played in goal. And Dennis Irwin, Ronnie Johnson, Gary Neville and Mikel Silvestre. Then it was the obvious midfield for
Beckham, Giggs, Keane and Scholes.
Keane and Scholes, and then Sheringham and Cole up front.
Oh, right.
Substitute appearances.
Did Solskjaer come on?
Yes, he did. In the 81st minute, Solskjaer came on, and then Nicky Butt and Wes Brown also came on. Chelsea substitutes that day, so you made 3. So you've got one of them already because it was Mario Melchior.
Oh, right.
Any idea about the other 2? Not for any points, just for some bragging rights. You've got a Dutch centre back.
Winston Bogarde.
Winston Bogarde playing one of his, 4 games or however many he played for you. An Italian centre midfield, I think he was, came on for you that day as well.
No idea, mate.
Sam Dalla Bonner. He didn't play many games for you either, did he? But, yeah. So there you go. Well done. So that was your quiz this week.
Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired after that. Okay, right. Who am I? So he has retired.
Okay.
So this is the lineup. So he started his career at HFC Haarlem.
Right.
Before moving to Feyenoord.
Yep.
He then moved to PSV. So I imagine went down very well.
No, not many people make that move.
He then moved to AC Milan.
Right.
Sampdoria. Before finishing his career at Chelsea.
Oh, see, I did think of a name, and then I thought, I don't remember him playing for Sampdoria or for the Dutch teams, but then you say Chelsea at the end, and he did. So I was thinking Ruud Gullit. He definitely played for AC Milan.
He did play for AC Milan, yeah.
Did he play for Ajax, though, or did he play for Feyenoord and PSV? He's definitely got to be Dutch. I can't think of any other. I mean, it's not Robben, obviously. I'm just trying to think of Dutch players that played for you.
Winston Bogarde.
Not Hasselbank. Yeah. I don't think it's. Well, mind you, he did end his career at Chelsea, didn't he? Well, but did he play for Inter Milan? No, I don't think he did. I'm going for it. Ruud Gullit. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah, so he did play for Feyenoord.
What a player he was, by the way.
And for PSV, he was at 2 seasons for PSV. He scored 46 goals in 68 games.
Not bad, considering he was by no means an attacking player.
He was at AC Milan for 7 years. He actually moved in his final year at AC Milan. He actually moved to Sampdoria on loan and then they actually signed him permanently. And then he moved to Chelsea and randomly became their manager.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah.
Actually, I tell you, he was an attacking player. It says he played.
Forward. Yeah.
I only remember him playing in midfield and defence. I never remember him playing up front. But obviously,
Chelsea, he pretty much played centre back for Chelsea.
Yeah. I was going to say that's where I remember.
Didn't really go. I don't think I ever remember him playing for Chelsea in sort of an attacking role. So yeah. No.
Good player though.
I did him because I seen an interview of him today on TV about he reckons that Man United teammates are ignoring their new striker Højlund. I don't know.
Sure about that.
Just seemed like a quote to get his name back out there. If I'm honest.
Yeah. It does say here that the young Ruud Gullit was considered as a signing by English sides Arsenal and Ipswich Town, but Bobby Robson turned him down. He later said that he considered £30,000 too much for this wild kid. So there you go.
I'm almost
could have been an Ipswich Town legend.
Ruud Gullit's son, I think, is actually playing for a team. Let me have a look.
Maxime Gullit is playing for SC Camber. After coming through the Alkmaar youth team.
Yeah, I did see that he was playing. Cool.
His mum is Estelle Cruyff. Johan Cruyff's cousin, I think, it says.
Oh.
His mother is the daughter of Henry Cruyff, who is Johan Cruyff's brother.
Cousin, yeah.
Cousin, nephew, something like that. Yeah. So there you go.
Ah, right. He's got some good genes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else this week?
Not this week.
Cool. And then we will be back next week.